DreamHack Open is brought to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Jönköping, Sweden for day 2 of another installment of DreamHack Summer. That's right, we have all 8 teams still remaining in tournament, battling it out for the lion's share of $100,000 and also the rights to lift that trophy you can see on stage in our wonderful Hall C here in Elmia. I think E, D, ABC. Look, it's one of those letters. We're here at the Elmia Convention Center and what has become a tradition in esports each year at this point. My name is Parla and I'm your desk host for the duration of this event. And I'd like to firstly shout out our sponsors, Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair and Hacks. We wear it on the chest. As always, I am joined by some more than qualified individuals to my left. I'm here with Jacob and Dust. Good morning.
Morning, Pa.
Well done.
Thanks for that, Jacob. Dust, though, I know I'm going to get that skin. We love it. Guys, we've got 4 best of 3s today. At least 8 maps to be played, but what is surely going to be a long and hard-fought day of Counter-Strike. Are you excited, Pimp? I know that you're not capable of many emotions other than sadness, anger, and frustration, but maybe we can feel some positivity.
We're off to a good start today, Pella. I'm actually super excited for today. I think we saw yesterday how close all the teams were. In fact, we thought going into the tournament that we had maybe 6 teams that could potentially go into the final. After yesterday, I would say we now have 7. Complexity showed us a fairly new level of their version. So it's great to see all this close Counter-Strike. And yeah, you can tip it up. There you go.
Sorry, I'm not tickling your nipple. I'm
You're allowed to if you want to, though. But it should be a great day.
The viewers might like it. You never know.
Okay, well, Dust, let's move on from tickling nips and talk about your opinions on what we have coming up today. We've got our first 2 matches that involve our losing team from yesterday, so it's do or die for those guys.
Yeah, it really is. And one of those teams that we didn't expect to be there was North, right? Like, they were one of the teams that were pretty heavily favored to not have too much issue coming out of this group, especially considering some of their recent form. Alongside AGO, we kind of thought those would be the top 2 teams out of the group. But in fact, Imperial, the team that we didn't expect to make it to the groups at all, wound up being first seed out, which is pretty impressive. So I think this first matchup we had today between North and Red Reserve should be a nice one. I mean, they've had a history of having close games against each other. Both teams have some talent. It's our opening game of the day, and there's definitely a lot of pressure on the line.
No doubt. And to everybody at home, if you didn't have a chance to check out yesterday's show, or if you'd like a reminder, let's take a look at a recap of day 1.
Who rushes through underpass with an op, Hugo?
Esperanto.
Who retreats back and gets 2 kills?
Esperanto.
Who finishes it with a goddamn ace for the ages?
Esperanto.
So smooth.
So it's a very straightforward retake and easy for Complexity to come with a counterplay. That's good though. Oh, he's not dead! Android pushed out and gets both kills before eventually being burnt out by Nifty's Molly. So very well played by him, and he's gonna look for more. Finds it, there's a 3rd kill, makes it 4. 10 seconds left, trying to go for the plants. Oh my goodness, MSL's doing such a great job of wasting time, but not a good enough job apparently, as Nuke moves out, gets that final kill, and the ace to go along with it.
On's playing so close to the smoke. He gets a secondary one, and that could be in the smoke. Taking that first one down, and the second.
And just to pick up 2 big kills, and see if he's gonna make a push. He sees the spam coming in for Toa, gets another kill.
No need to overface, because if Cajun gets that kill on Catwalk, he can fixate the entirety of his attention over here towards the site, but oh my god! Cajun B with 7 HP. He's got the smoke on top of it. Adren might not challenge, but he needs to get on it now, and it's just shy. 5 seconds the difference. Adren's gonna come in. He's tapping, but no way! Cajun B with a pistol round clutch!
Happy chappy there, Mr. Rene Cajun B. Borg looking very pleased with himself and his team's performance, and he should be because they made it directly through to those semi-finals. And it's their group that we sort of started the conversation about yesterday with regards to it being the more stacked side of the tournament.
There's a lot of great teams in there, especially now that Optic is playing great Counter-Strike. You have Gambit in there as well. We saw them yesterday not having their best game against Optic, so we get to see them today playing a best of 3. Sort of like the group where there's a lot of questions to be asked. You know, we didn't know coming into this one how good Optic would be. We didn't know how good or how hurt Gambit would be, and now we see both of them, you know, are kind of like trending upwards and downwards. So it's going to be interesting to follow and then see who gets out of the group, out of Gambit and the rest of the teams.
Indeed. Well, why don't we take a look at our groups in slightly more detail, starting off with Group A. We can see what transpired yesterday as we started everything off with North versus Imperial, and to at least a partial level of surprise, Imperial bested the Danes and moved forward to play AGO, who had beaten Red Reserve, again, to remind all of you, formerly known as Godsent, earlier in the day. And then Imperial beat AGO. They stormed them 16-4, pushing them directly through to the semis. And that puts us in the position we are currently in the lower bracket, seeing North square off against Red later. No, sorry, right about now. And then the winner of that will play AGO. And so I think this is going to be very interesting. Firstly, given the level that these teams are currently at, but the winner plays against AGO, and especially if that's North, I think that could be a fantastic matchup.
No, I'd have to agree, especially considering, you know, both teams' recent form. You know, I think like North's finally started to pick it up, and that was a big performance at Star Series from AGO, like getting 3-0 out of the group, one of the first teams out the group there, and had a pretty decent playoff series run. So I think it was against North, actually, wasn't it? And it was like a pretty close 0-2 series for North. So
yep,
it'd be cool to see if, you know, AGO can try to get their revenge or whatever, that storyline comes into play. So yeah, that'd be pretty neat.
AGO always seem to have these storylines about beating teams that technically they shouldn't, or teams that they need to prove something again. So yeah, Dust, I think that's a great point. Pimp, let's start focusing in on this upcoming match in a bit more detail. Tell me just what are your initial takeaways?
Initial takeaway is that North were not in a good state yesterday. I feel like this North lineup is one you can keep talking about and talking about and talking about, because they haven't
Danish,
if
right?
you're Danish, obviously, which I am, superior country, superior nationality, all good. The problem with North is they've been stagnating for so long now. It is the team that brought in Kirby, the big move from Astralis right there. There was a lot of rambles going in within the scene. Why did he do that? Why did he want to go to North? And actually, I back then, you know, was supporting it. I thought it was a good move both for Astralis and for Kirby himself, because if you're a player and you don't want to be in Astralis, if you don't want to be in your current team, it's about changing it so you don't mess it up for your current team and you can actually go into a new team and redefine yourself. You haven't really been doing that in North. North haven't been playing up to the level that we expected. It's been stagnating. It's been lackluster results, and the best result they've had was at Star Series, which was again against Argo in a quarterfinal, and then against NRG in a semifinal. It's not really the high tier teams that they should be beating. So North currently in a state where if they don't go in and win this tournament, I'm dangerously and closely looking towards a change in this lineup. Something needs to happen now. They've had the time to glue together, and if this can't work out, if they can't win a DreamHack Open event like this without struggling too much, then something needs to happen soon.
All right, Dust, I think it's time to start talking about maps. I hear you're the man for that on this desk.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the bans are pretty clear. Like, North's definitely going to ban Cash. They always do. But I'm kind of curious what Red Reserve wants to do, because they don't play Dust 2. They've never played it, but their typical ban is Nuke. And the thing is, North is capable of playing both of those maps. So pick your poison. Do you want to go to Dust 2 and take Nuke off the table? Or do you want to play Dust 2 for the first time ever with this lineup and, you know, get Nuke off the table because you know it's the strength of North? I think that's a decision that they're going to have to make. And then when it comes down to picks after those two bans, I think, you know, North will take probably whatever is left between Dust 2 and Nuke, I would think, if they want to, like, attack a weakness of Red Reserve. Then for Red Reserve, I think they're either going to have to go with a Mirage or an Overpass pick. But I think that it would be smarter to go for Mirage, because I think North is a super strong Overpass team. But that's actually Red Reserve's best map, so they might just go for personal comfort.
So what he's saying in English right there is that North is having a really good chance of winning this veto.
Okay. Good to hear in absolutely clear and basic terms. Thank you for that, Jacob and Dust. Now, we did see, right, Dust, yesterday, some fantastic matches on Mirage, some closer than others, but overall some great moments on this new iteration that's just been released. Remember, yesterday it was 6 best of 1s. Today we have 4 best of 3s, and so that completely changes the dynamics of the veto, correct, Jacob?
Correct.
And so, tell us, in this instance, when we're seeing a Swedish team go up against a Danish team, that in itself is a bit of a very well-known Counter-Strike rivalry between two neighboring countries.
I mean, it's two of the best countries' history in Counter-Strike. You know, Danes have always been good at Counter-Strike. Sweden has been dominating force within CSGO in the beginning. They had NIP, then they had Fnatic, so they had two of the world's best teams ever. Now we got Astralis these days, and America is still struggling to figure out where the hell they want to go, Dust. The problem with
we won a major, and we got Team Liquid.
Yeah, I think they've been
come on,
making
you do have Astralis, fair enough, the best team in the world, so I can't really fuck with that. But like, we have Liquid.
I mean, it's one of those things where if you're happy being second best, then sure, go ahead, right? It's a thing, you know, we have a Swedish team right here, we have a Danish team right here, and it's the only Swedish team left in the tournament, and they could potentially and should potentially go out now. So we need to see the crowd step up a little bit for these Swedes, and hopefully it's going to be a great game. I think we're in for a good one, you know, because Red Reserve, let's not forget, they're playing for the first time under this new banner, Red Reserve. They were the former Godsend team. They just changed organization, kept the same players, so they want to do well for their new organization as well. So motivation should be high on both ends, because I think North knows that if they can't win this game and if they can move on into this DreamHack Open tournament, they're going to be facing some serious meetings with the North boards when they get home. Whereas Red Reserve, they just want to do well for the new organization.
Yeah, and so the pick ban did wind up going kind of where I thought it would. So we are going to see Nuke and Overpass. So it's going to be the exact same maps that were played at Star Ladder, where North 2-0'd this team. Very close games though on Nuke and Overpass. So maybe we're in for close games again.
Indeed, and now we can take a look at North in a bit more detail. Which players should we look out for in particular going up against Godsend? I'm particularly interested in how Valder can perform. I think he's very much one of the largest gears in the system in North, and if he is on fire, he can very much carry the team. But Pimp is raising a finger. He's saying, wait, young boy, let me jump in and tell you something that you maybe don't know, Paula.
I'm going to counter you, and I'm going to say we're not going to talk about Valder, because what's to be said about Valder?
He's going to perform.
He's going to perform. He's always super consistent. He's always there, and he's always going to deliver the numbers he's needed from.
Yep.
He has some sort of like, I wouldn't say support role, but he has one of the more back-sided roles.
He's the closer.
He's the closer, basically. He's the Harvey Specter of the North lineup. So he's doing a pretty good job right there. If you want to look at players that needs to perform, guy on the screen right now, AC. He used to be a hard carry. I used to play with him in Dignitas when I would rate him as one of the 10 best players in the entire world at some point. He was definitely one of the best riflers and one of the most influential players when playing the game. Whereas the last 2 years, he hasn't been anywhere near that form. We're not going to see AC come in today, you know, and all of a sudden find this form. That it's hope is gone for that one. We just need to see AC be somewhat decent, you know, and somewhat consistent, and we haven't seen that. When North is playing well, that's when Mertz and AC is stepping up and playing up to their level, because I feel Valde, Kirby, and MSL is always performing up to their best, you know. They're always doing their job and their share of the role, so we need those two players to step up and give us a go.
Pimp, can you just talk a bit more on your personal dealings with AC and potentially why we've seen him slow down and what you think are the reasons why that's happened? And then we'll get Dust to go into detail on Red Reserve.
I think AC is one of those players that needs he needs someone around him to make him comfortable. I feel like
me.
It could be you, pal. You make us all of us uncomfortable though, but we have to perform anyway. It's like sort of our luck in this game. But AC needs, you know, comfortability around him. He needs something sure, and he needs to be put in a place where he knows he has roles. And if he can just focus on doing his job without having to worry too much about anything else, I think that's when he works the best. I think AC went into a transition period where he thought to himself that it was best if he tried to help out the team a little bit more. When I was playing with him, AC was not a good team player, but I don't think AC is supposed to be a good team player. He's nowadays trying to be like fitting into MSL's system, trying to help out the team, trying to be a little bit more selfless. Whereas I think AC just needs to be himself. He just needs to you know, do himself and let MSL worry about the team play, let Valde do the teamwork and just kill people. I think AC is one of those players that is trying to do the best for his team, but he may not know what's best for himself in this scenario. And if we ever want to see AC back on the level he wants way, you just needed to put him in a position, tell him, don't worry about anything else than killing, and we'll do the rest for you.
Okay, Dust, now let's jump in to Red Reserve. Firstly, yesterday they had that hard-fought overtime against AGO. What went wrong there, and what do you think they are going to be bringing in terms of firepower today against North?
Yeah, I mean, in that series, it was a double overtime game, very close. I think it was just a couple of key mistakes in regulation that kind of hurt them because they actually won more gun rounds than AGO. They just, you know, lost both pistols, didn't have good starts in either half, and made a couple of key errors like late in the game. But this is a team that's definitely one to keep an eye on, you know. For one, they have Twist, who I think is probably actually the best Swedish opera right now, even though he's not on either, like, what was considered the top Swedish teams. But
we were
also
speaking about that yesterday, right backstage, and Pimp also agreed with you to an extent that
also
Twist
just a good hybrid player. Like, he can do it all, really. So definitely a great talent. And then, you know, you have some veterans on this team, like Freddie B and Disco Doppelin go way back to like Epsilon days, so definitely some chemistry there. Then you have this young talent, Brolin, only 15 years old from Sweden, who's just a really versatile player, really good rifler. And then Hampus on screen is actually a pretty good fragging in-game leader. Like, I would say he's one of the better fragging in-game leaders at this tournament. They play like a simpler, more fast-paced style of Counter-Strike under him, but it works. Like, they seem to work together well, and they've had some good results. Like, they came top 4 at Tour. They had a group stage at Star Ladder, but they had some good games there. Like, they beat Renegades and Tyler. They took a map off of Liquid. So some decent stuff there. The problem is they're a little bit hard to read because they can't play in any of the top leagues with their full 5 because Brolin's too young. And I think that's like really been a huge hurdle for them on trying to like do well in things like EPL or ECS or that sort, and like getting those big playoff runs is the fact that they kind of have to mix and match players to compete in some of the tournaments.
Well, that will of course change over time as Brolin ages and they no longer have to worry about those barriers. Now, let's jump into head-to-head, and we're looking at Valda versus Brolin. Pimp, why are we looking at these two players?
We're looking at these two players because they have a similar role, despite being two different players. They play the game in two different ways, where Valda is the more... He's not that experienced, he's not a guy who's been around for forever, but he plays so clever, and he plays so... how to say it, it's so structured, you know. He has a way of going about things, and he has a way of communicating things to his team, so you know what Valda is doing if you're watching his demos, because he's doing the same thing over and over again. Whereas Brolin is more like a little bit more loose player. He's 15 years old, he does whatever he feels for. Obviously Valda does too, and he changes up his paces too, but Brolin is the young guy in this matchup, you know. Yeah. So two different players playing the same roles and having two different ways of approaching the game and two different experience levels as well. Yeah,
they play the exact same spots on T-side on a lot of different maps. So if we get to Mirage, for instance, they're both like underpass players, but the difference is Valda is like a closer. Like, he comes in the clutch and play late round situations. Brolin is used more actively to try to do entries into bomb sites or to help open up map control for your team in the early round. And so, like you said, like similar roles, but they approach it way differently, and I think that's why it's so fun to compare these two. And I also would say this, they're like the two like key riflers for each team as far as like you expect them to perform game in and game out, and they usually do, and that's kind of where you're going to put a lot of weight on those players to perform.
And that's a problem. You're mentioning
just quickly, just to point out, those head-to-head stats that we just saw on screen are just from the first match they played here at the tournament.
Now, just pointing out the problem you're saying right there. You said Valda, he is the lead rifler for North. He's not supposed to be the lead rifler.
Yeah, that's true.
It should be AC. It should be Cabby who's putting up those numbers, and Valda who's just being the rock-balled, sudden player that can clutch out the rounds. But that's not the case right now for North, and that's when you usually see them struggling. When Valda is the guy putting up the biggest numbers, when he's the guy top fragging, obviously they can win a game, but that shouldn't be the norm. It should be AC stepping up. It should be Mert for that matter, and then Cabby needs to step up to the same level he had when he was playing for Astralis.
We just saw our live GG bet odds on screen as well, and so you can compare your own odds and maybe go check that out. I'd like to move into predictions, Pimp, and whilst we're doing that, maybe you can also talk about the battle of the coaches between Ave and Nasu, two very much story players in their own rights.
Yeah, if you look towards those two coaches, both from 1.6, you know, a Danish coach and a Finnish coach, Nasu had a decent career as well in 1.6. Ave, obviously being a Dane, had a better career. He playing with MTV, were the best team in the world at some point. He has a lot of experience within this. I think Nasu is deserving a little bit of credit, though, for this Red Reserve lineup. When they were in Godsend and when he was brought in, they were not looking too good. It was a team that was just leftovers from the Swedish scene. It didn't seem like they were taking the game too seriously. Nowadays, they're qualifying for tournaments. They're here. They have a decent chance of beating North. And as you said, you know, at Star Series, they took a map of Liquid, and in general, it's just a team that is trending upwards, and with these young players as well. So he deserves some credit, whereas Ave is more like the static guy in North. I wouldn't say he deserves any credit for what he's done with North right now, but I don't think he is the problem. I don't think he is, you know, making the mess for them. I think it's the players right now that needs to step up and do what he's telling them to do, and then at some point he will figure it out, and then we can give Ave some credit for forming this North lineup when they hopefully, after this tournament, have performed and won it.
All right, well, Jacob, who is your money on today, this morning?
I hate to say it, but North is going to win, and if they leave or let me down one more time, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to have a serious talk with MSL, because they have to win this one. This is the better team, they're the better players, they get paid the biggest bucks, so if they can't win this one, then something is seriously wrong.
I am going to be siding with the Danes as well, and now I'm going to throw it over to Dust and his 3 reasons brought to us by Hacks on which team he thinks are going to win.
Yes, I guess my point's a little bit more dire. This is the 3 reasons why North need to win this game, not why they'll win, but they need to win this game. And for one, they need to capitalize on some of their recent success. We have seen an uptick in form from the team, some decent results at Starlighter. They won DreamHack Tour. They did okay at BetsNet Masters, so finally starting to get some deeper runs in tournaments. And you are starting to see like AZ perform a little bit better, Emerge performing a little bit better, so you're starting to see some individual form kind of rise up a bit. Didn't see it yesterday, though, in their opening game. It's Imperial. Hopefully we'll see it here. So they need to capitalize on some of this and roll it into more success and set themselves up for the rest of the year. And then secondly, tied into this, they need to get away from those past struggles. This team has been together, or the core of the team at least, has been together for quite a long time under the North brand. They haven't had too much success. Like, they had some early success last year, you know, DreamHack Masters Vegas, for example, or like E-League Premier. They won Montreal, but there was also a lot of bad sprinkled into that, like IM Sydney are getting eliminated from the group stages of the last EPL finals they were at. And then, of course, we all know what happened at Copenhagen game. So it's like you need to get away from that, start building on success that you've had, and get away from these struggles. Otherwise, you come into question on what your future is like. And then, finally, also tied into this is just like this is the expectation of the team. You have this great lineup on paper, a storied in-game leader who is probably one of the deepest playbooks in the game he brings to the table. You have guys like Valden and Kierby who are proven riflers in their respective roles, one obviously more active than the other. And you need to make this work. Otherwise, I think, as Pimp was saying earlier, you start to call into question whether or not moves need to be made. Like, AZ's been given so much time. He's been given roles. They got rid of Mages to give AZ roles. Like, you're starting to come under fire at this point if you don't start performing. So, and he's just one example. There could be other moves as well to think about. So, yeah, they need to win this. Otherwise, I think North's in for a lot of trouble.
Thank you very much, Dust, for that. And our game is pretty much ready to go. So let's get our two casters involved. One has the soothing, bluey sort of jazz voice, and then on the other side we have the emotional, passionate Risk. Niels and John, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Paul, and it's our pleasure to be bringing you our first best of 3 for the tournament, jumping into it in just a couple of seconds. Now, what's interesting, actually, as I was checking out the maps once the veto went through, is that this is the same exact map pool that we saw when these guys played just about a week or two ago back at Star Series. So that's going to be interesting to see that fold up. The only real difference is that comparatively, where Overpass was played first in that series, Nuke's going to be played first this time, and Overpass will be played second.
Yeah, this is a big advantage for North. Like, there's no question that this is definitely the better team on Nuke. If you look at the way that the two teams played, North have so much more experience. The only real loss they have was on LAN, was against Nip a few weeks ago at Star Series. If you look at their other LAN results, you're looking at like only wins. And then if you factor online games into it as well, the only games they're losing are against other Danish teams or against Space Soldiers online. And you can't really do much against that. So it's a really good map for North. Like, if they don't win here on Nuke, I would be very, very surprised.
I'm expecting North to win this one as well, but I do want to point out that when these guys play with the same exact map pool, the matches were relatively close. We're looking at a 16-12 and a 16-11 scoreline, so they remained relatively competitive. It did seem like Red Reserve or Godsend at the time sadly faltered a little bit when it came to the late game side of things, though, so we're going to have to hope that they can fix that up this time, as we are ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. So let's dive into our opening map of the morning. Good morning, by the way, to all of you that are here in the hall. Hello!
No one.
Yeah, it's a little too early for that still. So we'll dive right into it. And we'll go into North versus the Red Reserve. Let's dive into the fight, ladies and gentlemen.
MSL, CZ75, and Smoke quick push throughout the door from the T side.
MSL is going to continue to push forward, immediately denies the push from Brolan as well, but Disco Doppler will be finding a trade for himself. At the same time, though, T's still trying to work for upper control. Freddy B has a great lurk position from inside of the site, but in the meanwhile, the plant has gone on downstairs. It's going to be a bit awkward as Twist tries to move in for a quick kill, but it's going to be AZ instead that gets the better of him, leaving only 2 T's standing, one of which, I believe, is still going to be upstairs as well. Freddy B working himself down and around the corner, trying to knock these guys out, but no, it won't work out. AZ and Valde both pick up kills, and North will find themselves control of the opening pistol.
Yeah, this is something that the North and Danish teams generally need to have in order to win these kind of games. They need to win the pistols, or at least one of them. North is a team that can get a little bit tilted if they go behind, losing that first pistol, losing the conversion as well. So definitely need a good start here. Also generally a CT-sided team here on Nuke. They have around like 65–70% of their rounds won on this map is on the CT side, where their opponents from Red Reserve is the other way around. They actually prefer the T side. So winning this pistol round when they're on CT, Red Reserve are on T, it's a very big difference for them just to get started, get everything rolling, get the system up and running. 3 M4s, 1 FAMAS, and the new MP7 that's of course reduced in price. Let's see if Red Reserve can get anything done. They are buying into this, though, so this is not an easy round for North.
North are still going to have to go up against at least a little bit of firepower coming in for the Red Reserve roster. Not only that, but utility is still going to be prevalent here too, with a full smoke kit spread out across the entire Red Reserve roster. Decent amount of HE grenades and mollies as well, so they still actually have a lot of nade pressure to force North's players outside. On the opener, though, we are going to see Red Reserve try to move passing its secret control. They get that relatively conflict-free because of the smoke lineup. There we go, there's X-Ray. Now we are going to have AZ who will be in charge of holding the hallway, since the T's did get control of the secret approach.
Yeah, so right now, just taking map control, waiting for this smoke to go off, and then maybe they can try and peek to the stairs area, maybe they try to peek left, see what they can do. If they get an opening, they definitely go for the lower bomb side, but with just holding map control, they can still decide to go back. But let's see. They're committing now. Flashes are going in. Rotations have happened for North, so this is a good CT setup for the North guys.
MSL's going to get a good amount of intel spots. Saw at least 2 players crossing. He's going to hand that intel over to AZ, but he himself went back upstairs. Thankfully, AZ and Valde as well are able to handle things pretty much not too much of a struggle whatsoever. That is until Hampus, of course, is able to find the trade. Freddy B quickly swooping in, looking to pick up the bomb. Going to kill for it as well, but sadly, there were 2 players holding inside of control, so Kirby's going to be there, available for a quick trade. Being only Hampus in the fight, Valde will take care of nice and easily and secure that second round for North.
That's a really good round as well. They bought 3 M4s and they bring all 3 of them into the next round. They can afford to lose the FAMAS and the MP7, so that's fine. They're going to build some economy. The Danish flag, of course, on the stage. I actually think there's a rule that you can't really put the Danish flag on the ground. I'm pretty sure that's a rule.
Is that technically the ground though? Since it's
yeah, that might be the reason why. I don't know.
We'll get someone to hold it.
Yeah, please, one of the Danish fans in the audience, hold the flag. Hold it proud.
Hold it up loud. So MSL is going to make a quick push, assisted by a flashbang to get him a nice easy kill against Twist. Drops the bomb too, so I think Red Reserve's chances of winning this round, as long as they don't get taken out in lobby here, are pretty much already dead, sadly. MSL with his second kill now against Freddy B, leaves only a few players left standing for the Red Reserve. Just a matter of cleaning them up now, and North will have that 3rd round in their pocket.
This is another nice thing about North and MSL's playing style. He calls for that smoke at the end of lobby just to make absolutely sure that there is no way nothing crazy can happen. So they're just compartmentalizing this area up and just making sure that instead of having a 95% chance of winning down, they have a 99.9% chance of winning the round. And that's just the structure of North coming in. And yes, Hampus will get 1. Doesn't really matter. They should be able to bring the weaponry that they invested, the 3 M4s, into the next round anyways.
A little headshot from Hampus at least to give them something to play with. But as you said, it doesn't really matter in the long run of things. They can easily eat up the 1 kill without eating into their overall money amounts too much. But here we go. Now is the moment you've been waiting for, the opening gun round. We finally get to see these 2 teams battle it out. Full investment from both sides. North is going to stick with 1 MP9 on MSL, unlikely just the added saving effect. So that's Red Reserve, of course, spying with 5 AKs. No ops to be seen this early on, but North does have theirs. It's going to be Disco Doppelin that strikes first, however, knocking out AZ. We're also looking at Red Reserve trying to take a little bit of outside control, too.
AZ was one of the heroes last time they played. Him and Mertz really stepped up their game, so losing him early on is not a good sign. Definitely also not losing out to Disco Doppelin, who last time they played in LAN in this best of 3 against these teams with these maps had a rough time, a really rough time. I think he was at -15 last time around.
Comes the sneak to try and get secret control. Valde's got to be careful too. He just saw it. He knows he's got a lot of pressure coming his way. Down on ramp, he's got players coming at him from multiple angles, so he will very quickly be overwhelmed. Mertz, in the meantime, back at the bottom of Secret, is having himself a good time of holding control of that. Managed to take down Brolon, who I believe was the lone player trying to actually get secret control, basically just kind of lurking on his own. So with him being eliminated, that problem is now gone, but we are still locked into a 3v3. Red Reserve struggling to get control. That might change now with Twist getting his most recent kill back down by ramp.
It's a nice read though from North. Kirby still stays upstairs, but as I say that, he's actually rotating down. Usually, you would expect when Twist gets that frag that they're going to go downstairs, but the mid-round call came in from Hampus that yes, Twist, you're going to go downstairs and fake it while we plan it upstairs.
There we go. Even mollying off the vents to make sure there's no quick attempt to
then
rotate
it's really
back
hard
up.
now.
North at least get a fast read that was probably going to happen, so they get themselves out through Secret, but it doesn't matter because, yeah, Twist has that position at Heaven, but the aircon, this is like a very tough position to deal with even as a CT. Thankfully, Kirby will find the quick trade, and this is winnable when you consider the HPs, but remember, he's blind in terms of intel. He doesn't know where exactly those guys are, and he probably doesn't have the best idea about the HPs on the 2 remaining Red Reserve players either. So it looks like he is going to make the economical decision here, just fall back, play instead of Secret. He's got the op as well, so it's going to be good to save that. They'll let Red Reserve pick up the round, though.
Yeah, really good round from Red Reserve. Great mid-round call from Hampus to not go downstairs. Great individual plays. Twist wins 2 individual 1v1s, one towards the lower bomb side and one on a CT, like rotating away. just in general really nice from them. And it's very good that they stabilize, because if North are allowed to gain traction on the CT side of Nuke, that's where they get incredibly scary. Astralis is the same thing. It's almost like they're two cuts of the same bread, right? So they always do this same thing on the CT side. They start rolling and you really can't stop them unless you throw something like this out. And that's what they need. They need to stop them in their tracks before they get rolling. And this has now been done. The rebuy coming in for North, this is where Red Reserve can do a lot of damage economically.
See, Disco Doppler had some good stuff this time. He was able to break the door open last round and find that early kill by taking out a player crossing from Mini. This time won't be given such an easy time. Mertz, however, is going to struggle just as much as he tries to take an active presence inside of the warehouse. Although, even though he's been smoked off, might still have an angle to play off if these teams get a little bit over-aggressive, but no! Hampus is going to be able to spot him first. He takes him out instead. Well, Kierby will trade back a lot of damage. Still no kills against the Red Reserve roster yet. That could change in a couple of seconds, though. Kierby walks right up on a reloading Brolon. Hampus, though, trading it back just as strong with the elimination of AZ.
Hampus is just getting chain flashed right now. MSL will come into the back of him, take him out. Freddy B still alive with 6 HP outside, but Disco Doppler is making his way towards the A-bomb side. No one's here right now. He might be able to backstab MSL, who's gone aggressively into the door, but for now, both players are just holding angles. Let's see when they meet who's going to win the lottery. It's going to be Disco Doppler.
Moves in, gets a quick headshot off against MSL. Valde just kind of holding back in the corner here by the warehouse for the sake of trying to save his own life more than anything at this point. As sadly, again, Red Reserve have come out on top when it came to the individual 1v1s, along with North potentially over-pushing a little bit once they had access to smokes and whatnot. So Freddy B gets the last spot, quickly catches Valde on the inside of Warehouse, and there you go. No saves this time for North. So this should trigger an eco on the upcoming round.
Really good round from Hampus as well. Like, this is what we're talking about, like an in-game leader who can actively frag and open up. That's through the smoke, he just sees a sliver of him, and then he goes for the second frag onto the main, onto AC. It's very nice to see a player who can actually do really great calling, build up and mid-round calling, but also open up positions if he's the one that is destined to do that task. That's a really nice combination.
Doppler trying once again. Relatively successful with attempting to get kills on pickups right there, but again, North already learned their lesson from the first time, so they'll miss it this time. Not that it would have been too big of a deal to pick up the kill anyway. It's full eco for the most part from North, so we're not expecting much from them on this round unless Valde specifically is able to go off. A little bit of presence inside of Mini as they are going to try to resist it to the best of their own capabilities. Red Reserve, as you can tell by their playstyle around Mini here, they certainly are aware that something's amiss inside, and they've already been able to knock out one of the two players holding it. MSL's gone down. Potentially to see Mertz to follow in a few seconds here, as they really play this round carefully, just to make sure they don't lose any players here. There's the push for Mertz, which will lead to a quick elimination of him. AZ also falls shortly afterwards. Like I've been saying before, on these anti-ecos, just a matter of cleaning it up at this point due to the slow nature of Red Reserve's play.
Last time around when they played Nuke, as we said earlier, 16-12. And one thing that was to note while this round is going out is that only 5 T rounds for Red Reserve. They're already on 3 now, so 2 away from pretty much tying up the result from last time around. This is looking like a much different team. Last time around, Brolin was the only one doing like a positive contribution, and AC was 165 for North. This is another show right now.
Ooh.
The wall bangs, of course, from Twist. Hate to see it if you have MSL.
Yeah,
just get like holding in the main, just getting wall banged, straight up.
So we'll have our first pause of the day as well coming in from North. Good to see it being taken early. If I remember correctly from yesterday's match, they didn't really call for a pause in their game versus Imperial until really late. Like I think it was literally on map point that they called for their first pause. So it's good to see them at least trying to utilize that a little bit earlier this time instead of playing the map out to its completion.
MSL, of course, the man sharing his thoughts and sharing the changed, revised game plan right now. That's the way the team structure works here. MSL as an in-game leader has a very specific idea of what he wants to do and what he wants the team to do. And it's not like a loose calling style as, let's say, what Hampus, for example, has and other in-game leader has, where players can have like specific inputs and come with stuff. MSL will tell what he wants and when he wants it.
Disco Doppler getting a little bit lucky here, sneaking right past AZ, and AZ none the wiser because of it. So as soon as this smoke fades in a moment, he's got a nasty surprise waiting with Disco Doppler, a massive whiff on the spray. Will give him the notice he needs to fight back in this engagement. Disco Doppler's now got to be careful. He's looking at potentially 3 CTs pushing against him. Not only does MSL knock him out, but Kierby has success as well, being able to eliminate Twist. So North get a great start to the round.
Great start after the timeout. Disco Doppler having some trouble finding the door opening there. It was very clear that he wanted to go back, but then got stuck in the corner and had to fight instead. That always sucks if you're in that position. And that's maybe a tiny sign of him not playing like Nuke at the same amount of like time that maybe North does, like those small movement things. Especially with the way that the door works and when it's exploded, to find that opening. If you're not 100% sure where it is, you can mess up.
So Red Reserve still looking for a way to make up for this now, trying to flash the right inside of Mini, as well as dealing with the pressure from Heaven. They do a good job of that. Brolon at the very least. Oh my goodness, Brolon and Freddie B as he sneaks right in through Hut, bringing it all down to just 2 of the CTs, but thankfully Kirby manages the situation and picks up a massive 3K at the end of the round, preventing disaster for North in what was otherwise a good round.
4 kills from Kirby in the round, really nice. And he's one of these players where you look at him and you think, okay, he should be the star of this team. Like, he should be the one to top the scoreboard every single time for North. He should not be the simple, but almost in that like character, in that kind of league. Since they made that pickup from Astralis when his contract ran out, everyone is like, okay, this is the time for Kirby to shine. And he probably thought that himself. We haven't seen it yet, but hopefully with North on an upward trajectory, this could be the time where Kirby starts that legendary run.
He's going to come under a lot of pressure in a second, but it's direct pressure, no assistance via utility at all, so it's an easy 3K pickup for him. Knocking out Brolon, Twist, and Freddy. Just Hoppus and Disco left in the fight now for the Red Reserve. And they're both split up as well, so this is not going to be easy to bring this round back, but Hoppus gets a good start on top of the Twinkie, knocking out Mertz way in the open there.
AC with the 3K against fully bought up AKs. That's really nice to see. They were talking about it on the desk that AC is one of the players who needs to step up, and last time they played, he did step up, and he shows up here again in the main. 3K against 3 terrorists. Very nicely done by him. Hamp is now moving around outside, trying to see if he can find an opening. They're in a 2v4, so they definitely need to find a 1v1 opening and then take it from there.
Red Reserve, as far as I could tell, had plenty of utility for that peek inside as well, so I'm a little bit confused as to why there wasn't a little bit more of like a flash assist or something like that to try and get inside of Mini. They basically just try to shock value it, and it doesn't play out at all as AZ easily handles that.
Yeah, maybe the thought is that they're so confident about winning this first duel that they feel like they can save their utility for the next one, but then this happens, and that's where you always have to... Of course, you can always play with confidence. That's really important in CS, but you always have to think about the worst-case scenario. So if he's here and if he makes a highlight play, we have to have utility ready to flash him. And yes, that will leave less utility for the post plan, but you just have to think about every single possibility.
Yeah, like I said, even something as simple as just a quick pop flash into the inside to get him to look the other direction and distract him for a moment would have been adequate, considering they were going to push with all 3 players anyway. Doesn't work out, and because of that, as you can see, they do have to go on a pretty much full eco round. Only a few players able to even afford armor. Kirby will quickly get himself into an engagement outside. Get some good damage out, but no kills to be found this early on. It's actually Valde that will find one. Leave closer to the other side of the map. Twist. MSL quickly grabs Freddie B by the back as well and knocks him out. So it is looking like another pretty straightforward anti-eco from the north side.
Yeah, the anti-ecos have been very straightforward for both teams, actually. No real surprises, and as a fan of Counter-Strike Source and Counter-Strike 1.6, where ecos, not like these days where anything can happen, I'm a happy man right now.
Seems like Valve's philosophy is to give everyone a chance, it seems, regardless of the round, so.
You know, John, like, all weapons need to be viable, right?
Apparently a Glock needs to be equivalent to an M4 in certain situations, so.
Sometimes Valve logic is exceptional.
Maybe not a Glock, but a Deagle.
Brolon, trying to make it work. One of these players that with a Deagle, he can really make a difference, but in this situation where 5 CT players still alive, they don't need to face him. They can just hold angles and wait for him. He has to pre-fire every single angle. This could up and shut down with a nice turnaround from AC. And now Brolon in a 1v5, and at this point, North are just saying, okay, we're just gonna go for you. Brolon that might be a wrong choice. See, that's what he can do, right? And that's why you need to just wait for him. You can see the movement. Okay, there's only one guy left. We just go shut him down. He's not allowed to survive. You lose 2 rifles.
I was about to say, Brolon looking for a couple highlight clips, and he got himself some smooth headshots coming out from him to knock off 2 more before he's finally eliminated by the secret player. But still, that is going to be hurtful for the economy. And remember, North are still trying to reestablish their own, and you can see it. They're not looking, too strong in terms of an economy buildup right now. Most players are still sitting around 1 to 2K. So if Red Reserve win this, that's more than likely going to be a full eco still for North.
Small mistakes coming out from North. And in a survival game, that is very hard to kind of accept those small mistakes. You have to be perfect, especially in those scenarios where there's no need for you to make the mistakes. I understand that, like, they just want to hunt him down and end the round, yes, but you have to think bigger picture.
Orlan again, lurking outside, looking for easy kill of his own here. And also we could see Freddie B's constant attempts to break open that A-site door, finally firing back against him. As you can see, he got locked into the corner there. A bit of spam got thrown at him, so he lost about half of his HP. However, for the first time in a while, Red Reserve have successfully gotten the smoke wall lined up to get secret access, but now they've got to actually get past the halls and onto the B site, and this is where they have struggled when they've taken secret control before.
AC will be mauled out for now, but only rotating away closest to his teammates, of course, and another rotation comes in. 2 players now towards the downstairs bomb site. Twist will be working on the ramp as he did 5-7 rounds ago.
First, nice little re-peek to get himself the kill on Twist, but obviously had a pretty heavy sacrifice to his HP, so he does have to bail out of there, giving access to it to Disco Doppler, who I don't think ever really got seen by Mertz, if I was looking at that correctly. But even better.
Yeah, the way that they're playing it, they're just giving up control, so they're calling, okay, we're giving up control of ramp. Brawler will take the frag outside, but if he didn't hit that, the Molotov was going to finish Mertz off anyway. So they know where the terrorists have control. It's just a question of countering them when they decide to push somewhere.
The real problem here is going to be looking at the time. 10 seconds left to get the bomb onto the ground, and MSL just tears it all to pieces from inside of the corner behind the old vent. And there we go. Oh, maybe not. He's got to jump off of it, though. So Valde will take him down. And even if Disco Doppler picked up that kill, time would have run out anyway.
Yeah. Very nicely done by MSL, holding a really patient angle at CT vent. At that position, he can just wait for someone to cross up towards him. Goes for the full control spray. And gets 3 of them. Will get down at the end, but getting those 3 frags basically wins him the round. So very nice patience play by MSL, and that's what we need from him. He's not usually the guy to pick up frags, but when he gets the chance, he needs to do something like this, and he's done it in this round.
And that is that more obvious sacrifice you have to make as a T-sided team when you go in with that little time left. I believe they actually entered the site with almost exactly 10 seconds remaining, so don't have time to clear out some of those lesser played positions like we saw with MSL right there. So he gets a nice quick cleanup, and that breaks the Red Reserve economy once again to put them onto another half pipe here. Just deagles across the board, a couple CZs to be seen too. Valdo will get the early spot on the ramp push, backs up. He wants to fight it though, which may prove to be a mistake. No, apparently not. Picks up a quick double kill, dropped the bomb too, and then Mertz came in from hell to find one himself, leaving only Freddie B in the fight.
Freddie B, deagle in hand. Bomb to be found and 5 players to kill as well. This is a very unlikely scenario for the Swede. And at this point, he'll just be happy to maybe just find a rifle that he can do something with.
Just finish off the kill on Valde.
Yeah, there are options, but it's going to be very hard.
At the very least, with the recent change to vents, it makes it a little bit easier to kind of directly peek out from ramp into the site if he wants to go hunting down Valde and try to steal his rifle and then kind of run away with it. But it's not like he's too keen on that option. With the amount of time he was hanging out on ramp, it's very likely that someone could have rotated from the CT side and is also in the site, which would lead to a quick trade against him. So he tries to go hunting for someone outside at the right angle, but still loses it versus an op, which is not too surprising.
That's a way that you can play around ramp. Like, you can give it up, but you can hold all the exit angles, both down towards the lower bomb side if you want to go that way, or towards under heaven. So they have an all position for that position if he goes that way. They have one in lobby as well, and they have a guy on the lower bomb side and one who can rotate that. So it doesn't even matter where he goes. He gets shut down every single point. And that's how you gotta like compartmentalize, especially when you're in a like 4v1, 5v1. You don't want to take any risks.
There's a rush this time coming out from the Red Reserve as they're gonna force the issue on the A bomb side, and it works. A 2-for-1 trade gives them access and full control. Might still have some presence from Valde back towards heaven, but besides that, there's nothing else that they're gonna be able to do in terms of a retake anytime soon. They've got to wait this out. They've got to wait the utility down before they can even attempt it. Re-smoke inside of Mini is gonna cut off Kierbe for another extra 30 seconds or so here, so he's forced to rotate back away. And in fact, he's got his teammate, as we can see, Mertz is still sitting way back into spawn. May already be giving up on this one, and in fact, it looks like the case. The outright rush from Red Reserve works, gives them access to A, and North decides in the 3v4 not to contest it.
Yeah, and that can sometimes be the problem when you play a really rigid system, like North does with MSL. If someone just throws like the casual rush in there sometimes with a really good spawn, getting the entry frag and then having the utility to go behind it, it can be very hard to counter if you have a very rigid structure built up about covering all bases on the CT side of the map. And in this case, it becomes too slow, and then they're forced to save all the weapons. And I think it's a good call. Like, it's the logical call to not go into that post plan and try to go for the retake. So yeah, it's the tough of 2 tough choices, right? You just have to choose one of them, and they go for the save.
It's all right, though. Again, still a pretty healthy lead established. And again, their money is, I think, at a good enough point where they would have able to afford this full rebound. They have to recover here, though. And look, Red Reserve are just going to do it again. Let's see if it works the second time. And so far, it's looking good. But MSL is going to try to change their luck. Picks up 2 kills, knocked out by the player moving in for Pit. But Valde comes in just as quickly to shut down the rest of the situation and secure a 9th round for North.
Yeah, an instant correction from MSL on North. So they had 3 players technically on the bomb side when that push happened, and the 2 others was so quick on the rotate. So in 5 seconds, they were actually in main and in heaven as well for the rotation. Very nice read from MSL that, okay, they can do this. This is the one way that they can break us. We're going to stack and make sure it doesn't happen again, and then it's the perfect counter. They do it exactly the same thing, the same way around, completely shut down.
Right, so Red Reserve pushed their luck a little bit with attempting that rush strat twice in a row. Almost works as well.
Yeah, the entries were fun, but the rotations were just better.
However, this time, their experiments outside are going to be a little bit more successful. Brolon, once again, playing around out here, as we've seen plenty of times throughout the half, is going to pick up an early kill. It's Freddy B to take charge at mini, though. MSL, however, trading it back by knocking them both out, completely kills their outside pressure, and he's already in position to counter out the push inside of Hut. Makes a cross, though, and a crucial mistake. Calls for the reload as he's going through that cross, but thankfully a trade is found for Mertz quickly to still leave only Disco Doppeln in the fight, just inside of the A door.
So now Mertz is holding the long angle. If he misses the shot, Valde will probably push him, maybe on a flash timing. But they have to play this. They're going to change positions. Okay, I was about to say that they could play this refrag-wise, but
it seems like
they're going to decide to go 2 different angles.
Seems like both are just waiting for their opponents to make the next move.
Yeah.
But Disco Doppeln obviously knows that he will eventually have to push it. He does have free access to the vent, I believe, so if he wants to try and dive downstairs and go for a quick plan on B, he's got that option. Oh, it doesn't peek all the way inside of Mini, though, which will lead to his demise.
Yeah, that's the 50-50 choice, right? So either you can peek Mini or you can peek side. If he peeks Mini or if he peeks like main, that will probably be like a 1v1 that he could have won. And that's a problem for North when not playing refrag in a 2v1, is that you can give him 2 individual 1v1s. And that's the only way you can lose the round, basically. They wanted to try and be really smart and do a big flank to make sure that they secure map control and can cross off these different areas of the map. But yeah, luckily for them, Valde clutches it from the main.
Let's see here now. Hazy getting himself off to a good start again. The force buy from the Red Reserve on this last round sadly didn't end up being too healthy either. Just mainly upgraded pistols and scattered utility is all they were really able to afford this time around. Well, it did give them a few extra rounds at the end, sadly not leading to a good outcome towards the end of the half, as Mertz is able to pick off Brolin trying to sneak past Secret. Their smoke lineup was imperfect, so left room for the Alpers to still pick up some shots in between.
Yeah, now Mertz can hold this angle. He's rotated around. Will get around the corner as well. Mertz's op is on point right now.
Done, leaving only Hoppus alive, and not for very long either, as AZ still has control of the bottom steps in the hallway, so a quick cleanup from North, and they're feeling good, as you can
Mertz
see.
Is like, did you see that? Did you see my op? Oh my god, that was on fire. Yeah, that was pretty good. It was only against pistols, but still. That would have killed a fully armored player also.
You guys see this flicker around? Look at that.
Yeah, that's
Look at that movement.
But also, comparing this to the last time they played, last time was a 10-5 half for North on CT, now it's an 11-4, so a slight improvement actually for the Danish side here. Even though it looked kind of challenging in the beginning when it was like 3-2, 3-3. But now, they've stabilized as we would expect them to do on Nuke. This is not really like the map where Red Reserve had a big chance going into this. Definitely a way bigger option for them to go for overpass. But you always have to go into a map, even though, yes, it's not favored with the thought, okay, we can win this. We just need to stick to our own plan, focus on our own play, because we're not going to be able to challenge or read them playing Nuke, because we know they're good at it. There's not a lot we can do about it.
It's also just a Danish team on Nuke, so
yeah,
that kind of speaks for itself.
Danish team on Nuke. Danish team on Dust 2. Danish does. We can go all the way.
All right, guys, so the second half is going to be kicking off here in just a couple of seconds. And we'll get to see if Red Reserve can get off on the rebound here at all by trying to pick up the second half pistol, or if North is just going to try to run the gauntlet here and get themselves a quick 16-4 victory.
Brolin with a USPS is probably one of the things that I would be most afraid of if I was North right now.
Brolin maybe biting off a little bit more than he could chew. Quick trade is found, however. In fact, it was Brolin himself that picked up a kill. Twist unable to find anything. What they don't know is there's, oh man, they're just knocking these guys off one by one. Nicely done from North here. Disco Doppeln, really the last hope of defending it, but it's not just him still, it's Hampus on the other side of the map, and he's also picked up a kill to even this up into a 2v2.
Yeah, the idea was to group together to make sure you can't like get 1v1 duels, so the CTs can't get 1v1s with the USPs. And that works until they pretty much like split up on the ramp, and 2 guys go pushing in, 2 guys go going back. Hampus will take damage to the smoke. Bomb not yet planted, but AC will get on it now.
It's a bit of an awkward position there for Hampus, considering the way that the smoke lined up for him. He could be seen, but he couldn't see out of it, so had to quickly try and fiddle around, jump back into the smoke, which he safely did. Managing to survive for now, but he is still 1 shot for later on, maybe 2 shot, depending on where he gets hit. And yeah, there we go, 1 shot. So he's going to get knocked out by Kirby, leaving only Disco Doppler in the exchange. He does know where Kirby's at, and Kirby in a bit of an awkward position. Makes it easy for Disco Doppler now. Still has to win out in the 1v1. He does have a kit, so he's got the extra 5 seconds, but can't shut down AZ, so North will still maintain control as they claim the second half pistol.
Yeah, really nice play in that 2v1. So Kirby's making a lot of noise, putting all the attention on him. And the second that the T goes for the frag onto Kirby, that's where AC steps out left side of the bomb side and is supposed to get that frag. Sadly, he misses the shot, but then makes up for it later on in the round. So really nice way of playing that in general. Really nice round for AC also.
So Red Reserve, without much of a choice, will force into this situation. Still having themselves maybe 1 or 2 gun rounds to resist North before they shoot straight up to 16. This will be one of the rounds where they do decide to get a bit more aggressive. This is one of the more standard ones, so it's not too much of a surprise to see it here anyway.
Still a dangerous one though. Like Hampus with the scout and Freddy B close range with the C-set is very, very, very dangerous.
As long as they're consistently finding trades, along with not getting caught off by these more cheekier positions from the Red Reserve on a round like this, though, they should still be in good form, but there we go. This is what gets dangerous.
Yes, exactly.
It's players like Hampus finding picks like that. If that happens more than once, you might want to start worrying a bit, North.
And you can see it now, like they are worrying. They're saying, okay, let's slow it down for now. We have outside control. Can grab the smoke here, and then we have enough utility to do a full execute on towards the bomb side. They just have to cover every single exit. And Ace is holding the angle right now towards Secret. Spots 1. Make sure that he can't really push it. And they're still waiting. They're waiting for someone to make a mistake. If no one makes a mistake, they're going to set up for the execute.
They also had the bomb down, if you didn't notice, in that kind of awkward spot leading up towards Heaven as well, so they had to take a moment to retrieve it from there. Still got 40 seconds to play with. They successfully avoided Hampus and getting picked by him again. So he's got to retreat over towards Heaven for now. It looks like North are going to take a quick path downstairs inside of Secret.
Yeah, they have the Molotov for Secret, which is going to come out now for AC, I think. Twist will not be allowed to hold it close range. Actually, they're not going to maul it. They're just going to straight up push it. Interesting choice. Mertz, though, winning the duels against Twist, and that's what they need.
Yep, works out for them for now. Quick smoke, just to watch out for the ramp players. They can quickly get access to the plant position.
Oh, that's the Molo in the vent. Nice.
So North definitely have all of their assets covered, but it's still not a guarantee just yet, especially with Hampus hitting some shots like that. In fact, it's now down to just 1. AZ has to attempt to hold this 1v3 with only 8 HP to play with. Immediately puts his gaze up on top, but it doesn't matter. Hampus goes in for 1 more, and with plenty of time left to defuse, Red Reserve are going to come out on top in the second round of the half.
Hampus with a scout, like.
We get 3 kills, I think, that round?
Yeah.
Nicely done.
And it's not something that is new, like him picking that up and the C-sets being strong in this kind of CT round on Nuke. Like, this is not something that North...
Oh, here we go, let's see.
They should be aware of this.
Oh.
Yeah. But luckily, like Hampus, he individually is such a strong player also. Twist right now really falling off the face of the planet, like 3 to 14. Luckily for Red Reserve, like it's not all bad because Hampus is stepping up, but they're definitely still behind 5 to 12. Like there's work to do.
Yeah, it's sadly like the stat lines overall for players like Hampus are not amazing just yet, so they're showing up, but it's a bit inconsistent is the problem for them, as we're only seeing it every now and again, and it's still a bit of a long road on the comeback. But if they can keep it consistent on this T side, you know, good execute like we see here going into the upper site. All right, things can change pretty quickly. A few trades being found from North, as they're going to be able to move in, but overall though, Red Reserve still is going to falter and be forced outside of the A-bomb site, letting North take full control, and more than likely the round being traded back here, sadly.
Gaping holes on the inner side defense there. Only 1 player to actually hold 2 different points of entry from the T side, and I think it was Disco Doppler. He was just on the side, just got completely wrecked. People pushing him for 2 different sides. He could do nothing but hold one of them, and then it gets picked by in the back by an MP7. Like, there's not much you could do about that. And it comes down to the structure of the CT side for Red Reserve, which is not optimal on this map because this is not one of their favorite maps. That's just how it is.
Ready? Oh, he's got himself a good lineup to do some real damage here. Sadly, he's only able to put 1 kill up onto the board, but he gets very close to taking out MSL as well. Hampus is in a very safe position, so there is 0 risk to him getting taken out, but sadly, not sure what else they're going to be able to put together besides that. Might be getting up close to the gun round here, though, so see what the bar looks like in the next round here for the players on Red Reserve.
This is definitely tough for the Swedes right now. This is where North should just autopilot cruise it to 15, but we've seen them lose games like this before.
This is a bit of a awkward one for Red Reserve.
Yeah,
Two
they're
scouts.
just buying what they can at this point.
2 scouts, an AK, an MP9, and an M4. Hoppus, though, getting a great assist flash. Makes it an easy kill against MSL to open up the round.
Hoppus in a nutshell. He's going to go aggressive on his own and call for that flash. Other in-game leaders will tell other players to do it, but he leads by example.
Oh, and AZ navigating around his opponent's own smoke despite his getting countered. He's able to get himself to that safe corner and knock out Hoppus to find a trade, bringing us down to a 4v4. Browan will also get pushed outside of ramp. You had Twist, but Valde comes diving down, takes him out. And now North have pretty much the ultimate advantage here with the B site being cleared out.
Yeah, that's incredibly hard for Twist to hold that angle. He's all alone with the Scout. 3 players are going to be pushing him from 2 different angles. Twist is all, yeah, his teammates all rotated away. That was one of the MP9 players. There's not much you can do there.
AZ. Quite a bit of pressure against him. Yeah, he's actually going to fall back.
Good damage.
He's doing good work, though, of getting out of there and not taking additional risks. Oh, even a little peek up towards the top of control to knock out Brolan. Kirby takes a bit of a risk himself with a peek in through the double doors, but it comes out. Oh, on top as Freddy B swipes away at him. It's going to be a small gesture from Freddy B, though, as the round is still completely out of his control, and we will be looking at North going up to 14. He tries his best to do some damage. In fact, might still kill a player to the bomb explosion here, but overall, still another successful round from North as they get closer and closer to map 1 victory.
Yeah, Coach Ave just getting in there, giving a little hug to AC, just making sure that he knows that what he's done this round is appreciated and keeping his confidence high. I feel like AC having that confidence is detrimental to how North are either going to win or lose this game. AC needs to be on point. He needs to not be at the bottom of the scoreboard, and he's doing that exactly right now. He's playing very well. Mertz pushing in. Will be taken out by pistols, though. 4 pistol kills. What is this?
A successful defense by Red Reserve, apparently. As Valde is now left alone, he's going to be sneaking into the site. He's got at least 2 players to deal with. They think he went away towards Vent, though, so he's got a little bit of surprise here, but it's already been given away. Very focused on knocking out Disco Dolphin first, and he's right to do so. Eliminates him, misses, catches the flight from his other side, but there was a good call from the Red Reserve. Both push him at once, so he's completely surrounded and is not able to flick back around quickly enough.
Yeah, nice stack inside with the pistols. Right call in that round by Red Reserve. That was exactly when North decided to push in, and they were ready for it. CZ at close range, Desert Eagle mid-range. Good job on the defense.
I believe we will be seeing North take attack pause as well. And seeing that, so they'll call for one of their pauses and just take a second to analyze the situation. Just take themselves a little bit of a breather there, as I'm imagining they were not expecting to lose that round, so good chance to go over the mistakes that were made there too.
And this is where North gets really interesting, because sometimes you'll see MSL, he has a plan or he gets feedback from his coach. But this time around, it's actually the players giving feedback to MSL, then he can react off that. You saw Valde having something to say about how the offense was working. There was something obviously like gone wrong, maybe a flash missed or something. And he's like, okay, this is what we need to do to change, and this is what we need to do to win the round. And then MSL will be like, okay, I'll incorporate that into the next game plan. Here's what we do.
So at the start of the next round, North, they're going to take a bit of a slower approach this time. Kind of looking for systematic control of outside, but I'm imagining they're going to need to set up smokes before they feel confident in fully committing towards it. We do have other presence outside besides Freddy B, though I'm pretty sure. We have players playing close to the squeaky door that can quickly rotate out inside of Mini to help out. Freddy B, ooh, it's a very well-timed spam, actually. Nearly knocks out MSL there, but no successes just yet in eliminating any of the North players.
I think this is the bait, though. I think this is MSL baiting to go downstairs and one player going towards ramp to just make sure they can't push and get information. And now when the rotation has happened from Brolan, in 10-20 seconds they're going to execute towards A. But let's see, actually now they're setting up towards ramp. This might just be the fake, but let's wait and see.
Looks like he's got the rest of his teammates with him.
Yeah, this is...
He has some success, though, elsewhere. He's able to move in and take out Disco Dolphin.
No, okay, there we go. I was about to say.
Just posturing up, I think, just trying to make noise and keep those players
it
in
makes
position.
perfect sense. Like, everyone on the CT side is reading it as they should.
Yeah, the CT side, actually, I think, may have rotated a little bit off that play towards ramp as well. Hop is still holding a good position, but Valde's here watching for the flank. He's going to catch Twist before he can find any damage pushing from ramp. And there we go. The site's under full control. They've got 2 men watching. Oh, and Valde as well with a casual switch over to watching for mini control. Just knocks off Brolan's head, leaving pretty much no chance here for Hampus. At least he can do a little bit of damage. All right, Hampus, hold on a second. It's found MSL and Valde, which is going to give him access to an AK. Oh, lets him start moving into the site, and he almost finds another pickup here. The player holding Hut as well.
Bomb is taken away, though. It's not a lot of time, and AC will shut him down, but noble effort nonetheless. Really nice round setup by North in general. Like, MSL with the outside push. With those smokes going down, there's no way, you can't tell how many people are crossing towards Secret. Then they make the noise and like group up towards ramp. If someone peeks in or if someone flashes in just to get information, they're still gonna see like people there. And then the rotate comes around, push inside. Very nicely done. Set piece from North, gets him the round, gets him on 15.
Nice clutch attempt though from the last man alive from Red Reserve. Always respect the play with zero fear, which I think was quite accurate considering what we saw there. But this round once again is going to start successful for North as Kirby finds the pickup on the Hampus. Sadly, Red Reserve just overall again weren't left with a whole lot to force into in what could possibly be the last round here. So it's primarily pistols. Get a couple gun upgrades. Hampus had one of them and has already gone down. Sadly, things are just not looking too bright here at this point for Red Reserve on map number 1, and they'll have to start looking forward to Overpass.
Yeah, Overpass, they have a bigger chance. Definitely. That's a much better map for Red Reserve. But 6 rounds is still... You want to feel like you're competitive, and I haven't really seen that so far for Red Reserve. They had glimmers and small like examples of what they can do, but nothing like their true level. So hopefully they can step it a bit more up when they reach a map that's more close to home.
It's already taking full control of lower, but Brolan still going to try to throw a wrench into things. Problem is, Brolan has to split his focus a little bit here. He does successfully knock out MSL, who was lurking downstairs, but now he's got to run for the hills, get himself inside of the B bomb site. Thankfully for himself, though, North gave him plenty of time to do that. They had a pretty slow follow-up in taking ramp control. Now they're going to move in blind to his position, but he did take himself on a forward spot, expecting there to be a much quicker follow-up to his kill there. He'll go down relatively quickly, and with Valde's next pickup, it's going to leave only Twist and Freddy, although Twist does a good start here at ramp. Moves in, finds himself a headshot against Mertz. Got the op to play with here now, too. To be seen, he does see the push coming, but Kirby still gets the better of him. And now it's all down to Freddy B at the end of map number 1.
Freddy B, 1v3, and the deagle in hand. It's definitely going to be impossible. 16-6 for North on Nuke on home turf. They will take it. But now the question is, can Red Reserve bounce back on Overpass?
That's going to be the big question, of course. And sadly, with an abysmal start like that from Red Reserve, we're going to hope they're not going to get too discouraged moving on to that second map. Like we said before, this is the same exact maps that were played out when these guys played about 2 weeks ago at a different LAN. So they're just repeating history here right now. And North has taken an even more dominant stance than they did about 2 weeks ago. While the last match they played a couple weeks back was relatively close, this one was very, very one-sided in the favor of North.
North's looking good to start this best of 3. And yeah, we're going to take a small break, then we're going to be back with Overpass for you guys. See you then.